Page 22, Michael rowed the boat ashore. At the top of the page, we're talking about a chord progression using all three of the different chords we've had. So all three of the primary chords, the 1, the 4, and the 5/7 chord. Now, the order of these chords can be about anything you want. We usually start with a 1 chord and end with a 1 chord, but in the middle, who knows what happens. The one they're doing is fine. You got a 1 chord, and it doesn't matter where you play them, and you need to do this in both hands. The 1 chord, then the 4 chord, and then back to the 1 chord, and then the 5/7 chord, and the 1 chord. You want to get to where this is comfortable to you, where you don't even have to look at the keyboard to play these. You just see them, you'll see them in the music, and you'll just think of it as one thing, and you just play it. Eventually, that's what you're shooting for. Let's talk about this Michael thing and what he's doing with his boat. 4/4 time, 4 counts at a measure, quarter note gets a count. It's got a repeat sign, so it's really 4 lines long instead of 2. I see a dotted rhythm. You gotta love those dotted rhythms. So let's take this one hand at a time and make sure that we have the notes and the rhythms and all. Now you'll notice the first measure there only has 2 beats in it. And you think, wait a minute, every measure's got to have 4. Well, that's the pickup beat. We've had those before, I hope. We're coming in on beat 3. Well, that means beats 1 and 2 got to be someplace else. And they are. If you look at the last measure, the second line, it's got 2 counts in it. That's beats 1 and 2. And this is beats 3 and 4. So in the right hand, you're here. Sort of, actually, you think you're here, but if you look at the notes, you have an A here. So we got to cover 6 notes and 5 fingers. A lot of times to do that, we simply leave the thumb where it is and bring the rest of the hand up. Here. We're here. So we're in this position, really, for part of it. May not stay here, but this is where we are for now. So it's 3/4. 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Remember the dotted rhythms. 1 and 2 and, because the dot comes on 2, and the dot is attached to the quarter note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So far so good. And then when you get to the last measure, the first line, now they want 3rd finger. So just reach down here and 3rd finger. We're coming from this position to this position. That's all we're doing, we're just changing positions. And we're doing that by this way. Now it's 5th finger, because now we're in this position. Okay. I knew you'd like it. Left hand's got the primary chords. You got the 1 chord, and a couple measures later, you get the 4 chord. Second line, you get the 5/7 chord for the second line measure. All right, put the hands together. We're good to go. Here, remember, we're in this position. 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Remember, lift the left hand up. These are by themselves. 1 and 2. You get the idea, I hope. You go through and put the hands together, and then go back through it a few hundred times and get rid of the hesitation so it's a steady beat all the way through. If you can get to the point where you can play this without looking at the keyboard, it would be better. But that's kind of hard to do at first, but it's something to shoot for, something to work toward. We want to develop a feel of the keyboard eventually, and this kind of helps us do that. Don't always have to look at the keyboard to push a note down. That's what I'm after. Once you do all that, we add in the articulation. Here it's just the phrasing, the slurs. You're going to lift up between us. It's like taking a breath. Lift up. That's the way it's written. I don't quite agree with it, but okay, we can do it that way. Just lift up. In the left hand, you connect it as best you can. You can't because they're chords, but you do the best you can. Dynamics apply to the melody. MF, mezzo forte, moderately loud, whatever, not loud, just sort of loud, just whatever you think that is. These chords need to be soft in the background. way through. I know it's hard when you're first starting out to play one hand louder than the other, but I'm asking you to keep at it. Whether you're successful or not, keep at it, because it will come eventually. You'll get the idea of playing one hand heavy and one hand light at the same time. You know, it feels a little awkward. You feel off balance or something almost, but keep trying is what I'm after. Speed, well, somewhere in the middle. If you were going to sing it, how fast would you sing it? I ain't singing it, but you can sing it. I don't know. Now, a little bit about things that may or may not be happening here. Look at the last measure of the first line. You're here in the right hand. And you bring the third finger down here. Well, when you add in the articulation, you're going to lift up. You can move at the same time. When you lift up, you can move. This way, you can stay where you are and come down here. However, it gets back to what I was saying about feeling your way around the keyboard. This is why when I first learn a piece of music, I try and connect it as best I can, everything. I come down. So even though I'm lifting up, I'm doing this, I'm feeling this. Even though I'm doing this, I'm feeling this in my head. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this. Even though I may not actually be doing it, I'm thinking it. It's feeling again. I can feel where this key is by reaching down. Once I lift up, I don't know where anything is. I've lost the feeling. It's wherever. So I can feel it. It's weird. I don't know really how to explain it very clearly. It's a mental thing. Even though you're lifting up, make sure you feel this connecting it. This thing. Rather than don't just go from here to here, is what I'm saying. Let's play it together slowly and double check the notes and the rhythms. I gave us 2 counts because we come down on beat 3. I go ready, go. It's 2 counts. We are going to repeat it. I'm going to play both hands about the same. I want you to hear them clearly. You should play the same note I'm playing at the same time. Ready, go.